Welcome back to the Next Gen Prophets podcast. I am your pastor, Jessica Toach, where we are here to accelerate your prophetic process. Now, throughout this week, we have been talking about the superpower of every single prophet, your heart, the love and compassion. I even love what Deborah and Michael Feldhazen shared yesterday about how love is your very DNA, prophet. So it is no surprise that from the moment that you are born, created in love, that the enemy is out to separate you from love. And today I want to help you break free of your season of isolation. You've been in the wilderness, you have been alone, trapped in your hurt for too long, and I want to help break you free because God never designed you to be alone. And as we are looking at this attacking of love, the enemy separating us from love, we see in ourselves a stony heart begin to form. Now, I want to share a little bit here from Ezekiel 11, verse 19. And I will give them singleness of heart. Catch that? Singleness of heart. I'm going to explain this in a moment. And put a new spirit within them. I will take away their stony, stubborn heart and give them a tender, responsive heart. I want to focus a little bit here on the singleness of heart. What does it mean here? It means that your heart is not selective. In other words, you cannot love your brother and hate your neighbor. It means that you can't love your Aunt Susie and hate Uncle Bob. It means that your heart is one way. If you have in your heart any unforgiveness, if you have in your heart any bitterness or offense to anybody, your heart becomes stony and separates you from anyone else, those who you even love, those who maybe are close to you. Just from one point of hurt, your heart closes off to everybody else around you. Now, this is not the end of the story for us, but I need you to understand that this stony heart is not just a, oops, I sinned, oops, I got bitter, oops, I got angry. You see, our heart doesn't just turn to stone like that. Have you ever seen the process of something becoming rock or fossilized? Now, it's fascinating, and I'm a little bit of a nerd, so I love looking and researching these things. But the process of something fossilizing takes years. It takes very specific circumstances, very specific pressure in the right environment to cause something to crystallize from the inside and to be firm. Now, when we look at a stony heart, it's not just a, oops, I woke up on the wrong side of bed, I said something I shouldn't have, and I just got bitter and angry with you. But the stony heart is a lifestyle. It is a choice that you make that isolates yourself and your feelings from others. It's when you make a choice that you don't want to hurt anymore. You don't want others to affect you anymore. So you block yourself off from the chance of feeling hurt again. And I want to tell you today that even though it might seem like a form of protection, even though you might feel safe behind that stony heart, the problem comes in is that we feel alone. We feel completely isolated because as much as we don't want to hurt, we still want to feel love. And you've been asking the Lord to break you out of your isolation, to break you out of feeling alone and abandoned. And today, God is answering that cry of your heart because you don't have to be alone anymore. You don't have to feel isolated anymore. But you first need to recognize the role you played in isolating yourself because it was never God who isolated you. It was never the people around you that isolated you. The enemy is the one who has trapped and isolated you in your hurt and in your pain. And God wants to break you out because not only when you break out of this trap, out of this cage of stoniness, when you break out, you will find the love and compassion God has for you and your superpower, the superpower to love and break through. If you want to ever look at the most monumentous times in your life or even in the lives of others, look at outpourings of love. when you loved and had compassion. Those are the moments where we see the greatest change. I mean, just even think about the most special days in your life. Think back. I really want you to think through this year of the good memories you had, in the times you did feel love. How did that love shape you? How did that love change you? Because that is the purpose of love. It's to break down our walls, to break down the isolation that is within us, and to bring us to that place of feeling loved, to bring us into a family. And God has been working a long time to bring you into the family. And Prophet, it's time to stop acting like an orphan, because you're not an orphan. You're not abandoned. You're not in the wilderness. You are a champion. You are mighty in love and power, but the enemy thinks he has you bound. And today, I want you to break free, because the process of releasing yourself from that stony heart is actually very simple. Step number 1, forgive. You need to forgive, not because what they did deserves forgiveness, not because what you feel, not because of what the circumstances dictate, but you need to forgive because you need to break free of the bondage and the hurt that you are feeling. It's time to let them go. It's time to let go of, they did this to me, they did that, and just release them in love. Because already when you forgive, you let go of the offense and the thing that they did to hurt you. Then, step number 2, renounce any vows that you made in your hurt. What is a vow? It's like this. I'm never going to let anyone hurt me in that same way again. I'm never going to be put in that same position to hurt in this way again. I'm never doing this again. I never want that again. If you've heard yourself think or say these words, I want to caution you, because that in itself is what begins the lifestyle of that stony heart. And you need to renounce those vows. Even if you forgive the person, but you still hold on to the hurt, you still hold on to the resolve of this won't happen again. You keep yourself trapped in the hurt. Why? Because you've based your life on hurt. You've based your life on how you're not going to be hurt again. But here's the problem. You're so busy focused on the hurt and not experiencing the hurt that you're just going to end up in that place of hurt again, because it's all you're focusing on. But if you focus on love, if you focus on living in life and passion and forgiveness, you will continue to reap that in your life. If you continue to meditate on the pain and suffering, that is the only fruit you're going to see in yourself. So it's time to switch it up. Renounce that vow. Renounce that I'm never going to hurt again. Forgive them, but then let it go. Let it go. And it's time to change your lifestyle back to a lifestyle of love and passion. Put every one of your personal bitterness or offenses under the blood. That's step number 3. Melt all of that hurt under the blood. Let it go. Because in this moment, when you let go of your hurt, when you let go of your bitterness and you release it into the Lord, you begin to feel His love come back on you. In this moment, it breaks the ceiling of isolation and His love begins to pour over you. And then finally, be okay if the person that hurt you never changes. This is more of a step to keeping your heart of flesh. Because even if you release them, forgive them, it's so easy to get trapped in that same cycle of unforgiveness. And then you have to forgive again, and then you hurt and make a vow, and then you have to forgive again. Break the cycle here, and be okay if they never change. Not in a, well, you're not going to change anyway, and so I just need to move on. No, just realize that who they are is who they are. And you need to just accept who they are as the person that they are. You can't make them be, say, or do anything different, but you can love them for the person they are and appreciate the relationship you do have with them and not what you want to get out of that relationship. Just be okay with the person that is in front of you today. Just accept them the way they are, because isn't that what you are wanting? Aren't you wanting just somebody to accept you the way you are, to just see through all of your hurt, to see through all your mistakes and just be okay? Well, Let's start by being that model and pouring out that love to others, to giving that heart of love and compassion back to those around us, starting with our family. Look, no one has gone through a garden of roses this year. Many of us have faced our thorns. Many of us have faced our valleys. Many of us have faced hardships. Everyone in a shape or form has been hurt. It's just life. But can we begin to heal and be the solution to the body, to be the one to restore instead of tear down? And it starts by just coming back to the lover of your soul, coming back to the family that God designed for you. Prophet, you were never an orphan. You were never alone. And God today invites you back into his family. God invites you back into the fold with other brothers and sisters around you who understand you, who will challenge you, that will love you, but will always be there to support you. Now, I want to invite you as a next-gen prophet, if you are ready to break free of that stony heart and you need somebody to stand with you in prayer, myprophetictribe.com. Go ahead and chat somebody and get a hold of the next gen prophets. Reach out and write in that chat box, I have a stony heart. And one of our next gen prophets will be there to help minister. Now, you might not get an answer right away because a lot of our team are on our Christmas break. So do write in on January 2nd as all of our ministers will be back in the office. This is our only time of year where all the ministers get a moment with our family to step away, to process the year, to meditate on what the Lord is doing and to charge up before the new year comes. But if you need that prayer, you need that support, find that support, rise back up and get ready to pour out that heart and that superpower God has given you. Love you, Next Gen Prophet, and I will see you in the next podcast. Bye-bye for now.